In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how my business makes over $20,000 every single month, and I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how I got to this point to give you some inspiration, but also breaking down the exact streams of income that I have so you know exactly where that money comes from, hopefully giving you some ideas about possibly ways in which you can start building a business online or making money working from home. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin, and this channel is all about personal development for female entrepreneurs. However, I have another video today which is more based around business, specifically telling you exactly how I make money. Now, I've seen this kind of like video idea floating around the internet for a while, and to be honest, I was never really tempted to make it. It's just not the things that I usually speak about here on this channel, although I am very open with my income on Instagram and within my programs. But I really wanted to sit down because with everything that is going on at the moment, I know more people are looking to start a business online and possibly work for themselves. And so I wanted to kind of like take you through my journey of kind of how I got to where I am today, but specifically show you the breakdown of how my business makes money and the multiple streams of income that I have, just so that you can get some ideas about the possibilities for you of things that you could possibly grow into, and also which products that you could possibly start with if you are starting an online coaching style business. Now, I am kind of like an entrepreneur slash influencer, and that is all because of YouTube. You know, I'm not just an entrepreneur whose business just does one thing. I have multiple streams of income because I have the flexibility to do so. But what I will say is all of this, all of the opportunities and products and everything that I'm able to make money from comes from the fact that I have built an audience. So honestly, I know these videos can be really inspiring, but what you've got to remember is a lot of the people who are sharing their facts and figures with you are doing so from the perspective of them already having put in the work of building an audience. Honestly, the first piece of advice that I ever got in business was that if you want to be a digital entrepreneur, someone who runs a business online, the first thing that you should do is building an audience. You know, building up your influence within a particular niche, growing that trust amongst your community, because when you've built that community and that trust and that engagement, it's so easy to monetize. Now, that's not malicious or anything. Obviously, you're monetizing by offering value to those people, but having those people there is really important for a lot of this stuff. You know, there are kind of like two ways in which you can really get the traffic to make money online from opportunities to your own products, and that is either through organic strategies like content creation and, like I said, building up an audience on maybe social media or YouTube, or you can use paid advertising. However, just realize that that is an upfront investment that you are going to have to make. So although I really do want you to be inspired by this video, please just know that this was not an overnight success situation. I've been building my audience for over 5 years now, and that's why I'm able to make the money that I make. But that should not stop you from starting today. Get yourself online, you know, whether it be YouTube, podcasts, blogs, social media. The sooner that you start building an audience, the sooner that you're going to be able to make an income by monetizing that audience. Okay, so let's jump in. So I think it'd be really easy to assume that because I have, you know, an audience here on YouTube and because I create these YouTube videos, that YouTube related income is a big part of how I make money. But to be honest, it's not at all. The biggest way in which I make money is actually through my coaching and my courses. So the first stream of income that I actually have is my one-on-one coaching program. So I'm now at a stage where I'm charging $10,000 per every 6-month coaching package. Now, I did not start here, honestly. When I very first started around 3 years ago, I would charge a few $1,000s for 12 weeks. And obviously, as I've gone on and worked with more people, getting more results, I have experience in coaching a lot of people, and that's why I tend to charge more than I did when I very first started out. In the beginning, when you are coaching, I think the most important thing is that you actually don't charge too much much and actually just, yes, value your work, but also realize that experience and actually getting clients in the door is so important. You know, I've seen so many people like see these Pinterest quotes of like charge your worth, and they just charge way too high versus the experience that they have. And then they really end up struggling getting clients because they have no social proof, they have no testimonials. I'm not saying that you want to necessarily undercharge or work with whoever walks through your door. Still vet your clients, still choose the right clients, but make sure you're just charging an amount. Like the sweet spot is like an amount that is reasonable, but also makes you squirm a little bit, because it's just going to help you in the long run. It's going to be so much more sustainable for you to work with people in the beginning rather than just one or two people at a really high price. But at this stage now, I charge about $10,000 for a 6-month coaching package, but only work with 5 clients. So it calculates to be about $1,600 per client per month, which is around $8,300 every single month. So that's the first stream in which I make my money from. Secondary to that, I actually have a group coaching program. So my group coaching program, Simply Business, is one that I run twice a year, every single year. And that at the moment has 14 students in it. The program's $3,000 because even though it's the same length as my one-on-one coaching program, they do have less access to me. It's more of a group setting rather than having one-on-one calls and one-on-one WhatsApp access. Everything's done in a Facebook group and on group calls. So obviously the investment is much less than my one-on-one program. But as I said, I have 14 students in there at the moment at a $3,000 package. It calculates to be about $500 per client per month, which is around $7,000. So as you can see here, just between my one-on-one coaching program and my group coaching program, I think we're at over $15,000. So that is a big chunk of how I make my money online. The third way that I make money online is through online courses. So I am such a big fan of online courses. If you are just starting out, like creating an online course could be a really, really great way for you to make money off something that you already have experience in. Maybe you have a job and you could take those skills and create them into a course online. Like if you were a personal trainer or if you were a graphic designer, you could absolutely package those skills into an online course. Creating an online course is honestly one of the easiest things that you can do, next to probably creating an ebook, which by the way, I have a video on both creating an ebook and creating an online course, which I'm going to leave linked on the screen and in the description below. If you are interested in either of these, then definitely go check those out. But I created a lot of courses last year in 2019. And because of that, not only did I have lots of really high revenue months, like I had a $70,000 month and a $50,000 month on the months where I actually launched the courses, but also because I have payment plan options for a lot of my courses, I actually now have a lot of reoccurring revenue from these old courses. So at the moment, because I haven't launched anything in about 6 months, it's calculated out to be around $1,500. But at one stage last year, I was making well over $10,000 just from reoccurring payments from previous courses that I launched, because I launched a lot of courses last year. I'm also going into a launch of a course in the next couple of months. So obviously what that's going to do is give me another really high income month, but also a lot of reoccurring revenue from the payment plans. When it comes to me, I like to keep things as simple as possible. And honestly, when I think about achieving my financial goals, let's just say $1 million, the way that I think about it is I would just love X amount of people to pay me X amount of dollars a month, which would equate to, you know, the financial goal that I have. So if 2,000 people paid me $50 a month, that would equal $100,000. And so if $100,000 was my monthly revenue goal, then the simplest way for me to calculate it is just to get that reoccurring revenue. That's why I actually love payment plans. A lot of people think they're risky, but they're a really, really great way to have a steady income in your business. Like I said, if you know because of a membership or course payment plans, or even payment plans on your coaching packages, that you have X amount of people paying you X amount of dollars every single month, then obviously you could take, you know, a couple of weeks off without necessarily selling or launching anything, and you have that money coming in the door. So don't be afraid of payment plans plans, yes, a small percentage of people will default on those, but in the long run, if you charge just a little bit extra for those payment plans, say 15 to 20%, it's going to make up for the few people who do default. So I love payment plans, and that's a big part of the reason why I have so much amazing recurring revenue in my business. In January, I actually didn't sell anything, and my business still made a really great amount of money without me selling anything necessarily because of all these payment plans. And so now my next stream of income is AdSense. So I have both AdSense here on YouTube as well as on my podcast. But honestly, AdSense is a really small percentage of the monthly income that I make. My AdSense sits at around anywhere between $600 to $1,000 each month. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's an amazing amount of money to make. But what I'm saying is, in comparison to the other income streams that I have, it is obviously much lower. The reason being is I know I don't get a whole ton of views here on YouTube, and my podcast doesn't pay that much in terms of the AdSense itself. And I really wanted to kind of share that with you because I know a lot of people think, I did as well, like, oh, having $100,000, I could be like a full-time YouTuber. But I know I personally couldn't live, with my rent, with my bills, and with what it cost me to kind of run my business. I couldn't live off $600 to $1,000 a month, so I would never be able to rely on AdSense revenue alone. And that's why I just think it's so important to have your own streams of income, whether it is, like I said, coaching, mentoring, consulting. I have a video on like different types of businesses that you can start online as well, so I'll also leave that one linked in the description below. But I think it's just so much more important to have your own streams of income than it is to just purely rely on AdSense. Obviously, I'm super grateful for the AdSense, but at the end of the day, just because you have so much more control over it, obviously there is no kind of like capped earning potential. You're not necessarily always relying on whether or not like ads are chosen to be served on your video. You're in a lot more control about the money that you make with the products that you sell yourself. So those are like the main sources of income that I do have in my business, and it totals to just over $20,000. But my business quite often makes more, especially when I'm in a launch, and especially when there are other things that I do sell or other opportunities. So I kind of just wanted to walk you through some of the other things that I do as well, which would be classified as streams of income. So one other thing that I do here on YouTube, very rarely, I did way more a few years ago, but sometimes they do come about, is sponsorships. I have got paid anywhere between sort of $2,000 and sometimes even up to $4,000 per campaign. Sometimes it's 2 videos, sometimes it's just one. And that is obviously another stream that a lot of people who are monetizing their audience, especially with YouTube or Instagram, they can use as a stream of income. I personally prefer to sell my own products. Reason being is that I know that I'm providing so much more value to my audience, and also because I have so much more control over it, and I really hate the negotiation process of, possibly working with brands, the back and forth communication. I'm really bad with emails. So I much prefer to kind of like promote my own products versus other people's products. But I have done sponsorships in the past, and they are a really great way that, again, if you have that audience there, that you can monetize and make money. Another thing that I do as well, which kind of has to do with YouTube and the fact that I have an audience, is featured creator gigs or speaking gigs. And I've been paid anywhere between sort of a couple of $100 right up to a couple of $1,000 for essentially being featured or for speaking. Just a couple of weeks ago, I did an event where I got paid to essentially be on like a panel, like a Q&A panel. It was supposed to be in person. It obviously ended up being online due to everything that's going on. So essentially getting paid for like speaking or for being featured in things is another thing that I have been able to get paid for. Another thing is kind of doing like one-off masterclasses or my own events. So whether it be online or in person, I've done events in New York. I did an event here in Melbourne. I was supposed to have a big event in May this year with like 100 people, but that got cancelled. So doing like events and things like that. I've done webinars and masterclasses that I've charged anywhere between, $20 to like $50, maybe a couple hundred people enroll. And so that's another thing that you could do as well. Obviously ebooks, as I've mentioned before, I had an ebook like way back in the day. I don't really do ebooks now because I hate writing. Same reason I hate emails. But that's obviously another really great way that I have made money in the past, and that maybe I could even make some more money in the future. I feel like this was a little bit messy and jumbled, but honestly, I didn't just want to come on here and be like, hey guys, like here's here's all the ways that I make money. I really wanted this to be kind of like, these are some ways that you can think about possibly making money yourself. But again, every time you do watch these videos, just remember that a lot of the people that are, you know, talking about their streams of income, myself included, are people who've been doing this for quite a while, or they've built an audience and they're able to monetize that audience. So before you even think about necessarily like, right, I'm going to create a course, I'm going to spend 6 months making a course, you know, just start putting content out there, start building your audience. You know, you can monetize a really small audience. One of my older clients had an audience of like 2,000 people just on Instagram pretty much, and then a podcast she did as well. And she had a 6-figure year in her first year of starting an online business because her audience just loved what she did. She provided so much value, and then the courses and coaching that she launched obviously were just perfect for that audience, even though they were small. So if you get anything from this video, obviously you've seen behind my business and kind of the ways in which I make money. But also what I really wanted to say is that the first step to all of this is just building up your audience and building that influence online, because the opportunities that arise from that are just so incredibly amazing. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask me in the comments below, or reach out to me on Instagram. I am totally here to help you with all of this. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video.